You're on.
Constitutional Law 1. When people think of constitutional law, they think about individual rights, what they can do and what they can't do. However, Constitutional Law 1 is all about the federal powers versus the state's powers.
Talk to me. Go for it.
The whole policy behind Constitutional Law 1 is to not let the federal government swallow the state's fear. Because if the federal government swallowed the state's fear, there would be no democracy. It totally kills it. So first off, when you start off with Constitutional Law 1, you start with Marbury v. Madison. What does Marbury v. Madison teach you? Marbury v. Madison teach you is that the federal judicial system has the power to determine what the law is. For example, if Congress enacts a statute, the judicial, meaning the Supreme Court of the United States, has the power to interpret that statute to determine whether or not it is constitutional based on the enumerated powers of the governments. Whether it be the executive enumerated power, the legislative enumerated power, the judicial enumerated power, the judicial system, the judges have the power to interpret any type of law that Congress enacts to determine whether or not it's constitutional. That's judicial review. Next, the next most important part of Constitutional Law 1 is the necessary and proper clause. Necessary and proper clause is basically what it says is that, okay, Congress has enumerated powers.
Right.
Okay. And so they can only do what's within their enumerated powers.
Mm-hmm.
Article 1, Section 3, Clause 18 is the necessary and proper clause. The necessary and proper clause states that they could do anything that is necessary and proper to do any one of the following 17 up to the first enumerated power. To do anything that's necessary and proper to complete any of those clauses.
Yep.
Okay.
That's right.
So long as it is rationally related to one of the actually enumerated powers that Congress has. So Congress can do anything that is necessary and proper so long as it is rationally related to any single one of the enumerated powers. For example, say Congress wants to go into Cleveland, Ohio, and say, I'm going to start a temporary military base because we're on the fringe of war. Okay, what's one of the enumerated powers in the Congress?
Right, to hold
to raise
military.
and support armies. So is them taking land and building necessary and proper in order to raise and support armies? Yes, it's rationally related.
Exactly.
The Constitution is a living and breathing document, okay? The framers of the Constitution, when they founded the Constitution, they left it open-ended for a reason. They were smart people. They left it open-ended because they knew that contemporary times would need change. If they could write it's impossible for them to write into the Constitution what they knew would happen in 100 years. It's impossible. Think about how far technology can go in 5 years. Technology from 5 years ago to today, it's a completely different world. Could the framers in 1700s think of that?
No shit.
No,
Exactly.
they couldn't think of that. So they left it open-ended with the necessary and proper clause to do anything that was enumerated within Congress's powers. So, going back to my example above, if the Congress has the power to raise and support armies, they have that enumerated power. It's given to them. Can they take land to build a temporary base in a time of hostile war? Yes. Because it's necessary and proper.
And it's rationally related.
It's rationally related. Hell yeah. How else?
To protect the citizens.
To protect the citizens.
Exactly.
Why can they support navies? To protect the citizens. Why would they go and build, say a military base wasn't big enough to house enough soldiers to train? What do we got to do? We got to buy the land next door. So that way we could house enough soldiers to fit into the enumerated power to support that army in the time of fucking war. So that is necessary and proper. That is rationally related. Most things will be rationally related. Congress is given significant deference when they enact statutes. It has to be way far-reaching for a court, judicial review, court says what the law is. That goes way back to the beginning when we started talking with Marbury v. Madison.
Attenuate it.
It's got to be very attenuated. It's got to be very far-reaching in order for the court to determine that what Congress is enacting is unconstitutional.